Hello my dear chess friends, welcome to Kiwi Chess. Here I'm streaming today again. I just made myself a cup of coffee to get myself not to fall asleep right in front of you, to embarrass myself, but I would probably start my today's session with an interesting position of, that's not the one actually you see on the board, it's not a puzzle, but rather this position was sent to me by one of our club members just to have a look at that and see what happens. How anything could be done better by black, although the person was playing white. So it came to the Rukan games, and as you know, I kind of like to study Rukan games. Not saying that I'm an expert or anything, far from that. I actually just couple of weeks ago shaped that really easy won endgame. But anyways, so here we've got this position in which the game went like g6. There, well, first of all, you notice that this weak white pawn is gonna be gobbled at some point, right? And then black will be pawn up. Would it be enough for a win? Hard to say. It really depends. So here, after this exchange, we arrived to the rook and game. And here, the following moves were made. Like king comes obviously in front of the pawn. This king comes also centralizing. And here, black has got a really interesting decision. Well, first of all, I was analyzing this game, and what came to my attention is there is only one open file here. This one is semi-open, right? And a7 would be a kind of really weak spot should you leave it unattended, right? However, we've got situation where, well, you obviously don't have to guard that pawn, but then white would go there and take that pawn, then go probably even b7 or a6 and take the other pawn, and then this pawn is going to be quite strong, right? So black naturally wanted to go further, first of all. Well, this is the position. And then, well, instead of that, white might go that way just to guard this pawn permanently, kind of. But then black would take the e5 pawn and be pawn up, right? So that's not to be attacked yet. See, the whole thing with rook and games is that the dynamics are also kind of playing important role here. Well, maybe it is actually affecting all of the end games as well, not just the rook ones. But with the rook end games, the kind of the peculiar matter about that is that the rook is quite a long range piece, right? Therefore, even having some extra pawns doesn't really promise the stronger side a win. So in this case, what happened? White played g4, and overall, once you are on the weakest side, what you need to do is to change as many pawns as possible, because once the pawns are equal, and if your king stands in front of the extra pawn that is left, then it is really hard to win in the rook endgame. Not saying that is impossible. Akiba Rubinstein was actually an example of how you can play rook and games and still win. But nevertheless, here, what kind of uh, got into my to my attention, but I forgot to mention that in my email. Black could go there, check, and then just regroup, defending that pawn. That was the first thing on my mind, and I thought like, well, I'll leave it for the last. And then at the last, I just forgot about it. But that's my case. So check here, the king. If I do that, check. Where would the king go? If he goes there, I'm simply taking the pawn, right? So that's not an option for white. So where? G3 then? Okay, sure. But then we can also stand here at defending the pawn, and everything is going to be fine. We will be moving slightly, improving our position, and then just probably going and creating another passer. The king the white's king is going to be cut off from the battlefield, right? We can always go like h6, not allowing him to go anywhere near, and that's going to be kind of really tough endgame. It is still a tough endgame for white to defend, of course, but that could add to more complexity into here. So that was really good plan, and I forgot to mention it. But okay, so what black decided to do? Well, black decided to get rid of this weak pawn, which is kind of also just justifiable, right? And if white played this way, implying that he could take on a6, then black could just move the pawn forward. And it's going to be also a really bad scenario for white, because black then goes to and takes the f file, and then the pawn is going to go anyways. So that's a really kind of hard situation for white. But there, black made kind of a couple of mistakes later on. Okay, so after that, white decided just to throw away the pawn. Okay, sure. Now black has got also this a file, which has got some potential attacks on the several different ranks. Okay, what happens then? Obvious, because I want to defend that pawn by stepping my rook into, right, on the second rank. Now going there, sure, that's all logical because this pawn is weak really, and then potentially you can go there and maybe even go to the pawn endgame. White should avoid going to the pawn endgame, of course, unless he wins the pawn, making it equal, but that's really hardly imaginable here, right? Okay, going to a4, that's all good. King goes there, and here he goes g5. I would actually not go that far, really. But what can you do in this position? Maybe maneuvering there. That's what my first intention was. And if he goes there, creating the pawn doesn't really help because white comes closer, right? Well, then I will take. Yeah, well, that's still kind of in black's favor, it's clear. But going there, I wouldn't really bother creating any kind of hooks for white to get onto my pawns. I don't want to open another line here. And as you see in the game, white succeeded doing that, and that gave him quite a lot of decent counterplay to draw the game. Right, so now going there, sure, okay. Now this is the interesting move. So that opens the h file, of course, if should black take or not. And my first natural reaction was maybe I should even take, or maybe I should play just h6 here, supporting the pawn. That's what I kind of was not really clear about. Natural taking here, but then, well, white can sacrifice that pawn but then get into my pawns here, and the rook is going to be really active at the back rank here, so that's kind of really interesting. So sacrificial move, but allows white to activate the pieces, namely the rook, right? Okay, after that one, well, here I think that was not really necessary to give a check here. I wouldn't probably produce that check here, frankly saying, but I mean, what's the purpose of that? So if white goes there, okay, so in the game he played just back there, and there shouldn't white cannot really exchange the rooks here, so he goes there, and that's the whole purpose of opening this file here, right? So after that, what would you do? Oh, he played d4 here, but should we really do that or not? That's the thing. Maybe we should, because after all we kind of create a passer here and so on, but it's all kind of general suggestion. Everything is decided and clear variation play here. So checking, giving him a chance doesn't really make any sense because he takes and then the pawn is gone, right? So this whole idea with the H file quite rightfully gave black sorry white counterplay, right? So that's the clear thinking of what black could do in here, just not to get into this position. As I said, I would probably select here rook to a2, and let's just see what happens. If it goes there, well, white has to defend that pawn, right? And then what? Taking here. That's what I was thinking. Maybe just simply protecting that, so not giving him any counter chance here. At least on the H file there will be no objects for attack. I think just this would be fine. Yeah, and if he takes, I take, and he decides to go for that, what would I do? I would probably just take here. Oh, sorry, not now, of course. Silly me. So taking here. If he goes there for my pawn, first of all, I can really ignore that, and if I take here, he takes check, I go away, and he can't really go and check me here. See, the thing is that, well, my pawns here seem quite intimidating. Yeah. And if he gives me check here, I'm simply going away. My king stands in front of the pawns, but I can also create passers here probably, even though that seems kind of still drawish. So maybe there are different ways of improving this position. Maybe they are, maybe they are not. Simply taking here instead of rook check, we can also just try and simply take, but then rook goes there and we have the same variation, but the file is already open. So I think we're making a favor. We're doing a favor to white just by taking there. So probably the best way is just to keep that pawn supported, maybe. After all, what would white do? I mean, clearly the white is really in big trouble here. So yeah. All right. So what happened in the game? Check here. Went there. Again there. Okay. H file. Taking. In interim take here. And see that's the thing. I wouldn't even bother with this interim take probably. I would rather try to create my own passer maybe. And if he takes, sure, I can just go ahead with my pawn. Taking here, going there, going there, going there, going there. Taking here, and frankly saying that still seems drawish. Those two pawns are really strong. Yeah, I can't even approach them. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's not really a good idea in this case. Going there. Simply taking maybe. But then this check. And after exchanging, yeah, I'm gonna win here for sure. So again, white shouldn't really exchange anything. So just check here probably. Going there. Starting to move my own pawns. Getting there, taking, going in front, going there. No, you can't go there. So yeah, white wins here. So yeah, right. So as you see, it is just quite complex, and I believe that at this point already, once this kind of moves were made there, it is already kind of drawish. But I have a feeling about it. As you see, I didn't really turn on the engine because that's pointless to analyze with the engines. You should go through those variations yourself first, and then once you finished your analysis, you can verify yourself, right? Because quite a lot of things could be wrong, and etc, etc. But here, it seems like it is quite an equal position. So white went back, not really taking the pawn. Black went there, taking. Yeah, well, an additional check here. Interesting. Going there, going there, going there, protecting. And here it is. It seems like a draw, guys, because, well, how would you how would you win here? Yeah, now white stepped in front of those pawns, and that's definitely yeah, you can't really win here. Well, yeah, and no, a second, I think black missed here another thing. It's not really advisable to move that pawn forward unless you can get like check here and get with your king even closer. So that's really kind of a little bit of a mistake here, I believe. So, but what would you do? This check was threatened, and what would you really do? Check here goes away. Okay. Now, I would prefer just going back with the king probably, because if check and some other stuff happens here, at least my king is much closer here. Still looks like a draw. If you attack immediately, I can protect that, of course. Check, coming closer, and then it is kind of here. That seems quite interesting. So if he attacks me here, then I can move the pawn forward. Sure. And now that's kind of quirky already, because I can even go that way and that way. I think it is quite, well, not quite sure, but it seems like it's really like black has got some advantage in here. And just because not to move these pawns earlier, black has like probably got a little bit relaxed here, but with this check and just going forward, yeah, this way you can't really protect your pawn, so you needed to come closer with the king probably. Yeah, I think this is gonna be better. But even in here, I believe that white has got enough resources to, yeah, the king is cut off. I can't really come closer here, right? So if that's the case, what would you do? And now, once the pawn is moved, there is no way, because white has already threatened to get closer to and get to the c4 square. So yeah, black prevents that, but hey. And even here, if take, get in there, I think it is a draw here, right? What I was thinking is that if take happens, it's going there. Well, here I'm not quite sure, because black can just go there, and that's kind of winning, right? That's winning. So yeah, cheetah sin is as usual, but I politely decline that. Okay, so that's right. Well, no, there is no reason for white, of course, to change the rooks. That I'm just checking the variation here. So here we go, and check, and now it is a draw. And guess what, guys? That's not winnable. White rightfully steps into the opposition, and it's long opposition, and no matter what black does, white just keeps the opposition, and that's a draw for sure. Here we go. Very interesting in game. So I believe that somewhere around here, that was the pivotal point, and I might be able to play slightly better here, because yeah, maybe I should create a passer here instead, or just go h6. Just go h6, keep this nice spot for my rook and that, and then create a passer here. I believe that should be fine. But as I said, I would prefer some other ways here, which are slightly more torturing. And just a general idea, guys. There was one Russian Grandmaster Romanishin that I had honor to communicate with, and he said to me a really wise thing, which I underestimated at first. He said that it doesn't really matter how a computer evaluates a position. Why? Because for computer, the objective truth is, um, for example, in this position it is 0, 0. Why? Because you have to make, as say for as a white, you need to make a sequence of 8 exact moves to reach a draw, and it's a draw objectively, right? But as a human, you need to find this kind of sequence of 8 moves, and on each move you can always deviate, and that could lead to a disaster. You know what I mean? So the thing is that it doesn't really matter sometimes whose position is better, or whether it is a draw, like objectively it's a draw or not. The problem is that as human beings we cannot sometimes produce that sequence of moves that equates. Okay, even if the position is equal, you clearly see that it is much more pleasant to play it as black, right? And white can make a lot of mistakes on the way and lose in the end. And it doesn't matter that computer says 0, 0 here. Don't really deceive yourself relying on computers in that case, where you say, well, actually, I could have drawn that because computer says it's a draw. Wrong. It could be true, but it could be, in most cases, it is wrong, because for computer it is really easy to calculate the variations. It is really easy to say, well, this is a draw and therefore it's a draw, right? But try to reach that draw as a human. That's why I believe that the human chess will never kind of deplete. The ideas will be still there, and you can't really say like, well, okay, computer says it's a draw here, therefore it's a draw. You just need to, first of all, memorize the variations, etc. But that's impossible. You can't really memorize all of the variations, right? Some of the openings, yes, you can analyze it deeper to understand the ideas and so on. And again, it comes to the point where once you analyze something with a computer, you don't do it yourself. Why all of those things like Polygoyevsky variation were so popular for such a long time? Because first of all, there were no computers to disprove it or refute it, right? Therefore, new and new ideas were born there, and it was really hard to refute them over the board, right? People could not do that, so people spent a lot of time to analyze positions and so on, to understand those positions themselves, analyzing, moving the pieces, thinking on that. And that's just the beauty of chess, where there is no way that you can substitute everything with the computers. You still have to think yourself, because after all, over the board you play yourself, right? Nobody else is playing. You playing, you make the moves, and only there and then is important. You can't really say, well, now I will lose, and then further on I will analyze that, and next time, well, there will be no next time. There is here and then in chess. That's the only thing that matters. Right, so I was going on off on a tangent, but let's just go back to our stuff. It's really kind of interesting game, and particularly rook games, they are quite frequent, therefore they are worth analyzing how to play and what kind of guidelines to see in the position, what can be done. And white played beautifully here, just equalizing, being pawned down basically. Well done. Okay, and here is finally we reached our puzzle solving part. Here we've got the pawn endgame, which I also really like, because pawn endgames, they're really exact. There cannot be estimation as unclear position. In pawn endgames, everything is clear. It's either a draw or a loss. Okay, and in this case, we see clearly that white is much more active. White's king is much more active. It can go there and press. It is already on the 5th rank. Black is on the 7th rank. Could be easily pushed away, but it's not always that simple. It's not always that simple. So our variations here, I would really like to take on e5, and he will have to retake that, and then I will attack the e5 pawn here, right? But then he simply protects that. Can I do anything else there? I can push the pawn on to h5 and then say, well, okay, what are you going to do next? It seems like the only way he could do is just either push the pawn forward or come closer to my pawn with the king, because either his king goes backwards. I'm simply gobbling this pawn right on e5, and that's it. I'm gonna have extra pawn in winning position. So what would black do here? Maybe we could also just go there with our king and say, well, then I will take here. But in this case, if I just go straight forward, he takes on f4, I take on f4, and then he can go, say, g5, and I don't know how this is going to finish. I believe if he takes, I take, he takes, I take, it's a draw. So we don't need a draw. Another possibility is just to go with the pawn forward, but and then I believe it's a draw again. Why? Because, well, to prevent that pawn break here, we will have to play h5, and then no matter how hard we pressurize black, he just goes into here or into h8, and once our king starts to dance here, even making the position here, he just goes back and forth here. We cannot really take that pawn, therefore it's a draw. Right? So we need to avoid locking the position here for sure, as white and being the strongest part here. Will you excuse me for a second? I'll just get myself a bit of a water and come back, okay? Just 1 second, guys. Just again, kind of cut some thoughts as well with regards to the computer analysis. I know it for myself. Once you put the position there to rack on the computer, right, on the engine, and then you see, oh, that's really nice variations. They're promising yourself some advantage and so on. But then you see, like, my God, I need to memorize it, and why it is this way, and why it is this way, and that's the whole fruit of the computer analysis, where you don't really get that close with this cause and counter with the position, because if you thought about that yourself, you would be much more, informed about the position, I would say. Okay. Anyways, right. So here, what are our options? I think I would take on a5. That's what I think I would do. I don't see any other decent options here. If I go h5, yeah. In fact, you know what? h5 is interesting, but he just comes closer with the king. And that's it. If I take, he takes with the king, and I'm lost. So I have to take him here on a5, I believe. And once he takes, I have to immediately attack the pawn. And he has to defend it immediately as well. And then I've got an option here. I've got an option of going a g4, by the way, or fixing him on h5. And I think some of those two variations should be fine. I don't see anything better than that. Do you? As it is popular to say on YouTube, leave your comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. My goodness, when they say that, I just strongly feel not to do that. Anyways, maybe men are much more kind of arguable or disagreeable, as they say. That's the whole idea why men are a little bit more advanced chess, probably. I don't know. Maybe that's all bollocks. Anyways, so we go there. And I think, let's just, to me, it seems like really logical to create him a really weak pawn and then use Zugzwang position to defend that, to win that. I'll take that. Right. Wow. Now, that's an interesting point. Where we can take, and it seems like he has to retake that with the pawn as well, leaving us with an interesting position where his pawn can actually lock two of our pawns. But saying that, we can always use pawn break, in fact, to create a distant passer. Not saying it is right, but this is just an idea. Now, if I leave that pawn unattended, right, nothing to do with here, like if I go there, he takes with the king and my pawn is gone, right? So I think I'm either obligated to go there and protect the pawn, but doing that here is gonna give us a check. We can go away. He goes there. I come closer. He goes there. Yeah, well, that doesn't make much sense to me. Taking that pawn though, he will take either with the king or with the, no, I think he's gonna take with the pawn for sure. And then when I'm gonna go there, he goes that way. I'm gonna go there. I don't really see how I'm going to progress. I don't really see how I'm progressing there. My smartphone, like I probably ate and just touched it with the dirty finger. Now it doesn't really slide. Ew. So it's like it needs cleaning, proper cleaning. This screen. Right. Okay. Okay. So, where were we? We were just looking at this position, right? Should I just go there? That's an interesting point. And if he takes, again, he's got this weak pawn, which I am going to win anyways, so he goes there. If he goes that way, I'm going closer to the pawn, and he can't really protect that anymore. So he moves there, I move there. And eventually he will be in the Zugzwang position, where I'm winning that pawn. So I think what, guys, I'm going to do is, this is tempting, but after he takes, I don't see how I can progress there. He's gonna go there and there, and if I go even further, he will stop, get into this position here. So what I'm going to do is just move the king back. And my point here is that I am going to take then. And if he takes with the pawn, sure thing. How it is actually different? Hang on a second. How is that different to whatever I was going to do? So if I take, he takes with the pawn, then he threatens to go to e5. I'm gonna go there myself, and then he goes there, alright? Or I'm gonna go there, he gives us a check, and if he doesn't give a check, what would he do? He can't go there, can he? That's the whole idea behind that. So I go there. goes check, and I'm gonna go back, and then I'm threatening to take that pawn. If he goes somewhere like this way, I'm going there with a pawn, and he goes there, I'm going there, and he needs to pass the move, right? And I'm taking this pawn again. Yeah, I'm taking that back. And here we go, guys. We've got 13 points for that, because pawn endgames require a really thorough calculation and long variation calculation and proper estimation of the positions where the pawn breaks could happen, what could be this, what could be that. So it is quite a profound thinking battlefield, which leaves you a lot of freedom of experiences, etc. So I'm glad that we did that, but I just want to illustrate what the position would be. So taking there, so that's paradoxical move, right? So you've taken, so you have to continue with taking. No, you just go politely back. Otherwise, his king comes closer, or if he takes, then it's gonna be not in your favor. Mostly because if I just go somewhere and take, he takes with the pawn, not with the king, and then he threatens to go with his king in, and it's gonna be already probably even winning for black. You know what I mean? So that's just really dangerous. But the paradoxical idea of just going with the king back, why? Because we are forcing him to take that one with the pawn. Okay? Now other moves can help black here. If, for example, he goes there, sure. Let me just see. If I just simply take there and that, so what would that be? We've got no choice here, right? We have to take. And he takes with the pawn. So how is that different? It is different, for sure. It is for sure different. So we can go away, then go there, relocate our king. And if he goes away, we just get to that pawn point, right? When we go for that pawn. So I think, yeah, I think the idea is just to go there. If he goes in the opposition, I'm just gonna go there, and he can't really keep the position here. That's the problem for black. So I go there. He can't step on that particular square. And if he goes there, we just go and create another pass here, and we are gonna win. Yeah, simply relocating the king. Interesting and very, very educational. Next. So check here. Sure, why not? What are we going to do? Well, we have got no other option but to run with our king. The question is where to? He's going to take our rook. Baga baga. If you run there, that doesn't seem right to me. That doesn't seem right to me at all. Because probably of some checks here or something. Or he can simply just... No, he cannot. Just going to check, I was to say. And if he takes, taking here with check, he goes away. Now, doesn't seem right. But black has got initiative here, I can say for sure. Oh. We have got no that many variations. We can go either this way or that way, right? You go on the right, off with your head. You go on the left, you're gonna be dead. First I was thinking I should go that way. Why? Because first of all, he's got no checks on me. Checking here, the rook is protecting, right? So if he goes away. But if we reaching that position, what is it to do with black? Because this check is possible, right? So we're threatening, definitely. We are definitely threatening. And if he goes anywhere, the rook comes here with decisive effect. And that's why we probably need the king here. And if we go there, well, he's got several checks here anyways. And check here, we're gonna go there. He checks here, we're gonna go there. And there's a checkmate here, right? So, no way. So definitely. This way doesn't seem like helping us at all. Alright, and I saw this move too, by the way, guys, because my move was to go there check, so I thought like, well, the rook to here definitely keeps the fire on, but I was secretly thinking about this move with attack, but then he simply takes. Then I can give this check here. Suddenly this rook comes in, right? And then he can't even go there because our king guards. Yay! I think that's what we found here. He cannot really check me anyways. Can he? He cannot really check me. So b6 seems to me interesting, but let me just quickly, guys, look into my phone. Interesting. Right. I trust you. Excuse me. I will just. Okay. Backdoor stuff. Now, I see that a lot of people are watching now, so welcome guys. If you're first time here, my name is Alex and I'm a FIDE candidate master from New Zealand. So here I mostly solve tactics, which are chess puzzles. I don't do any kind of puzzle rush stuff and that. That might be spectacular, but see, the whole paradox of life is that the things that are really educating and allowing you to grow spiritually in terms of your mental development, of course. And here in chess, the things that are actually contributing to your growth are not really popular. Whatever is popular is rubbish. I see all these people that just like playing bullet and blitz and so on, and that could be really interesting and exciting, but that's not how you grow. You grow via really hard work of analyzing positions, your opening repertoire of typical positions in endgame and Mittelspiel, all of those ones. So this whole, I must say, stupid entourage of immediate pleasure of looking at the somebody playing blitz game or even playing yourself. That doesn't really contribute to your chess growth. So there is nothing more profound that analyzing positions, solving tactics, reading books, how this or that opening actually developed, what ideas are behind this or that, like typical mid-game position, as I said. So that's what contributes to growth, like finding the ideas, memorizing the ideas, not the positions, the ideas. And a lot of current players are just really liking that. I don't want to be really specific, but look, I looked at the Alireza Firouzja when he lost like this really ridiculous opening, which is just so known, and before that he lost this really easy drawn pawn endgame. That makes me think that, well, he's really talented young guy, but he must be absolutely hating studying. He hates studying. He hates hard work. For him, it is just like really exciting to play the game and get involved into that adrenaline rush and so on. But he hates studying. If he was studying, he would be avoiding the stupid mistakes that he makes. True, some people say like it is it's really all those ones were performed in like time trouble and so on. But no, that's the case. No, they were not. Right. So in this position, I would like to play b6, and I told you my reasons. Why? Because I'm threatening this take, and I'm also threatening probably just taking with the pawn as well. If he retakes with the rook, then taking here, checking here, wherever he goes, then another rook comes in with checks, etc. So I think that's going to be quite dynamic here. But I may be wrong. Maybe I can just bring the rook in this way. I think bringing one more piece into the battle is even more advantageous. Because how would he protect that pawn? By moving the rook in, of course. And then what? And then we could probably do something else in here. I know what I was just thinking about. Maybe we could move the rook in, but no, we can get this check, and then the same scenario where we're getting checkmated on f7. So that in mind, what can we actually do? This bishop here seems a little bit out of play, but I can't really place it anywhere else. Looks like this is a really nice way to develop, right, the initiative. He can't really go anywhere. If he brings the rook to protect that, then the whole fun starts. We're gonna go there. But even, well, okay, he takes here. What are my other actions? Will I take on c7? No, I wouldn't. So that seems like really slow. And I urge you guys to think like, if I make a move, to estimate if it is worth of making or not, say that it is still my move, right? So for example, I move there, say it is still my move, right? What would you do? Why would you think it is threatening? Because with next move you're gonna take on c7 with check, right? And checkmate is near. But if I go there, and if he protects the pawn, now if it is my move, what would I do? Now think two moves ahead as well. So just go there. Sure, but what if he takes here? How am I gonna threaten him? Right? How am I gonna threaten? What am I gonna do if that thing happens? I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I don't really see anything, which is really alarming. Should I move my rook there in the first place or not? And that's because a rook on c8 can protect the c7 square, right? Anything more encouraging here? I don't know. Ah, as it now, I don't really see anything. How this particular thing can, in fact, make any difference. That's why I was thinking about just moving to b6 first of all. Maybe that's good, maybe that's not, because I've got the same threat. And if he moves the rook, maybe our rook not on cc, not on a7 would be making any difference. And that could be not. You know what? What I noticed is if I move here and he moves a rook to c8, I can move my rook into here. And the difference that makes, I threaten to take him. If he takes my rook here, I can still check him here, right? Wherever he goes, I think he can go only to one square, which is this one. And then I need to understand if I can take that rook, or I can take that bishop here, or I can do anything else, because it seems like I'm giving away one more rook, but do I gain anything? Do I gain? That's the question you need to ask yourself playing chess. What do I get for that? So b6 again, switching back to my original plan. If he takes here, then rook comes in check. And that's already kind of hard to defend. b6 it is. Now, rook to c8 as planned. Then I was planning to go with another rook to a8, and the idea is just to take him here. So he has to take, then I'm taking here with check. Only one way to go. And shall we take this rook here, or shall we take that bishop here? We cannot take the bishop because the queen is attacked, defending that. But if I take that rook, I'm threatening to give a check, of course. But frankly saying, is there a checkmate or not? And the answer is no, there is none. Maybe there is something there, but not entirely sure. The position seems quite dangerous for black anyways, because I'm also threatening to go closer and checkmate him here at some point. So maybe that's worth going for. Because after all, it is still like white has got initiative. It's a really promising way to go. And the thing is that I can't see anything better than that. Maybe there is something, but it's really hard for me to spot. Any sacrifices here? Probably not really even. Yeah, I think I would go b6 here, guys. I will go b6. And if he goes there, I can maybe even take on b6. That's what, or on c7. I don't know. If I go there and he simply takes, then I give a check, he goes away. I take, I still threaten to go everywhere. And if he takes here, maybe check here first. Check with taking with check, I don't know. That seems very, very dynamic for white. And if I see that, I definitely want to go that way. But I may be wrong. It could be that I'm wrong. Let's verify that more thoroughly. Interesting. All right. Okay, so anything else we can spot here? Let's verify again. I personally cannot. No, I don't really see anything else. Because, well, sacrificing doesn't work here. I'd really like to see my queen somewhere on f7 with check. But that's it. Meh. This one is the only thing. And if he goes there, I can at least move the rook forward. Threatening, and if he takes, I can take here, check, he goes away. I can take, if he takes here, I will get another check. If he goes to the second rank, I can give this check here and then win the rook with check as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go this way, guys. b6. Okay, so this way we predicted that one. And then the key move was rook to a8. But maybe there is something else which I don't really see. Any sly attack here? And I cannot really spot anything. The thing is, he cannot really protect on c8 anyhow, right? So once I'm attacking, he takes. Then I'm taking here with check, he goes away. Then I'm taking here. He will have to take this way. But then maybe I should just go somewhere like here, not check, here comes. So I cannot do that. Seems dangerous, but it looks like, well, maybe it's worth doing. Forget that it is dangerous. Everything is dangerous. By the way, that's another thing that Coach Noy was reminding me about. Not him directly, but a story about him. That I think he asked somebody why he didn't play something with Anand, and like the very principal variation. And the other person said like, well, I was afraid or something like that. And he said like, well, how many times you've got a chance to play against Anand? You should be kind of going all in, like, playing in full strength in the very principal variations. Otherwise, like, everything is dangerous, you know. So life is dangerous. Why wouldn't you get the moment to fully enjoy that? Playing somebody, yeah, that's how it should be. Sometimes people say like, well, you shouldn't be taking chess that seriously. Hey, if you don't take it seriously, you wouldn't be able to achieve the great goals. That's why everybody like Kasparov and everybody else were just taking the chess really seriously. He was really stressed when he was losing, and he was really elated when he was like, this is like a great emotional, like, roller coaster. But yeah, it's easy to say don't take it hard, but if you don't take it hard, you don't endeavor. Face it. Everybody who reached some of the chess heights, they were always passionate about chess. They were taking that seriously, right? They were taking everything seriously because it's like a life battle for them. Right. It seems like this session had a lot of stories and a lot of interesting moments that I could recall and probably share with you. Right. Now, so rook a8 seems to me the best way. Maybe it's not the best way, but at least something. At least something. I don't see any how else that we can bring any of our stuff in there. See, this one there doesn't really count because of this check, so the rook stays for sure. And out of our other stuff is just this bishop, which I could sacrifice in theory. In theory I can sacrifice that, but what for? He retakes, and then what? Rook goes there? Maybe? Then this check. If this rook goes there, threatening check here, then check there. Everything is in the check, and maybe even check with this piece. Maybe that. That's interesting stuff. Because once I move that way, which seems also tempting, and if he takes a check here, gets away, I take here. He takes here, check is threatened. So check, then I can take with this, and this is another pawn coming. I think I wouldn't be really overcomplicating. I say I'm just gonna go rook to a8. I don't see anything more than dynamic than that. And that's correct, and then we take here with check, right? Right, and here, in fact, wait a second, guys. No, I was just thinking about going b7 here, but he can just go with the rook, right? And he goes with the rook, we go there. He takes, we take with check. He covers, and that's it. No, we shouldn't really waste that pawn here, so we should go that way, I think. Then he takes, then we take here with check, take that with check, and they're just stepping forward here, I think, at some point. Yeah, I'm taking here, and that's correct again. That's correct. And my idea is that, well, first of all, what would he do? I've got another pawn here which is coming, right? So if he takes here, I don't know. I think I should go there, check. And the problem for black is that if he goes to the 7th rank, he can't really escape. I'm checking here first, then he goes anywhere. I'm just taking here with check as well. He goes away, and here comes the moment of truth, which this is the checkmate right now. So I have just to go away, I believe. Then another pawn comes and queens. So yeah, checking here, sure. I'm just gonna go there, checkmating you. Yep, seems quite interesting. Nice. So I solved only 2 puzzles, And I think, guys, I would like to stop here. I've been streaming for over 1 hour, and I think that should be fine by now because I spent like half hour in the beginning analyzing some position that one of my former opponents at chess sent to me, which was Rook Endgame, and you can look at that in record as well, just to see what was analyzed there. I know it has been just over an hour, but I'm really tired, guys, so I would probably call it a day now. So, in fact, two puzzles over 2700 properly solved are quite good. I'm quite pleased with that, and I think I might be wrong, but I reached my absolute maximum now, which is 2776. I don't remember if I was 2780. That seems kind of. Let me just check if I had anywhere. If I was anywhere. No, I think it is for all of my history. That's my record. I think it was somewhere here, which was 27. No, it's still not counted. Not counting, I mean. 2017. No, I could have sworn I've got higher points than that. 50, yeah. So now it is 2776, and I'm quite pleased with that, so I think I'll call it a day and say goodbye now. Alright, guys, so thank you to everybody who was watching and will be watching. I will be streaming as usual on Wednesday. I had a really busy week this week, and that's why I skipped Wednesday, and I couldn't stream any time afterwards. I do apologize for that, but it is just like I can't predict my work schedule, and it was really intense. I just wanted to crawl to bed and sleep, so forgive me for not appearing. I'll try to compensate. Maybe I'll stream 2 days this week, maybe Wednesday and Thursday. So stay tuned. Wednesday it is scheduled, and I'll try to keep my promise to stream during that day. So I will see you then. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye, and see you later, guys.